Hey guys, I'm actually doing two uploads today. So in this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I feel like, my personal opinion, we're kind of in the best era for Pokemon cards. So I know that a lot of people are actually kind of not very fond of the Scarlet and Violet era, but I actually kind of am. Kind of got me started in the whole era. I started in Crown Zenith, so I started the final set of the Sword and Shield era. So that means that Scarlet and Violet was the first generational like change that I experienced. So I have like a little bit more of a bias towards it. Um, I think that people understand from my channel that I do mainly talk about like the art rares and stuff like that when I am talking about my videos, like my budget videos. Um, and it's just because they're so cheap, and for what you get a lot out of it. The Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet eras are completely different, right? We have the Sword and Shield era. In the first couple of sets of the Sword and Shield era, there was really nothing worth picking up in terms of like products. The cards weren't really chaseable. There weren't a lot of like really amazing, like fantastic alternate full artworks or anything like that. But as soon as we got into the Scarlet and Violet era, that all changed. I think they realized with Crown Zenith that like being able to just like pull something as nice as like a alternate artwork of a trainer like Miriam or something like that, it is like a it's just like a different kind of feeling. I think people just like are kind of desensitized to like all of the different artworks because of how easy it is to pull. But if you really take a look at it from a second and just like step back, like the way that I do in my videos, with the whole like artwork mainly reviews, you can pick up like all of the top cards in Scarlet and Violet base set for under the amount that it costs to buy you a booster box. Like that's pretty cheap, and these cards are Pokemon that will do well in the future, I'm sure. Like Miraidon, Koraidon, Gardevoir, alternate artwork. You have the Miriam, which is pretty cool, and then you have Arven and like some of the I think this set is really like kind of default, but it's default in a good way. Like it's like simplistic. There's Pokemon that people like Arcanine and Gyarados, and then you have like the newer Pokemon mixed in with some more older Pokemon, so you get like a little bit of a mix of everything in the set. It's pretty small, so it's easy to collect. And it's just a really nice looking set in a binder. I have a personal binder set of this set. And it's just a really nice looking set overall. And then we move on to Paldea Evolved. So Paldea Evolved is also a fantastic set. And it's like people are only now starting to realize that Paldea Evolved is good. And that's because the investor people. The investor people go, look at guys, Magikarp is 105 or whatever, $108. And people are like, wait, what? It is? Why? And people are like, well, it's kind of like the Giratina effect. But like, I was the one like realizing that like I'm sitting here realizing like, dude, this set is enormous, first of all. Second of all, it's like filled with many different illustrations of really cool Pokemon, like the starters and like the four treasures of ruin. And you have so many different art rares. There's so much for people to like in this set, and it's so massive. It's like so vast. There's so much stuff to collect in it, and it's just like such a fantastic set. And I don't really think you could ever really get bored of opening Paldea Evolved because it's just like you always have a chance of pulling something good. You pick up 10 packs of Paldea Evolved, I'm sure you're gonna pull something interesting, You're gonna have something to show for it, I'm sure. And that's the thing that I feel like we're taking it for granted, Like back in the Sword and Shield era, if you open up Sword and Shield base set, if you open up Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, Rebel Clash, those sets, if you open 10 packs, there's no chance you could even get a regular V. And even if you got a regular V, you'll be disappointed because of like the pull rates. Even if you open like Evolving Skies, Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, the chance of you pulling something good is way lower than the chance of you pulling nothing. And that's no fun. Whenever you don't get anything in a pack, it doesn't feel fun. But like we're just taking this stuff for granted. People only care about the chase cards, but if you look at like Paldea Evolved, it's so like wide, it's so vast, and there's so much to like in it. Like there's so much to enjoy about the set. It's such a beautiful set with so much beautiful artwork from fantastic artists in the Pokemon TCG. Same thing with Obsidian Flames. It's way smaller and it's super cheap, but it has Charizard in it. You got an alternate artwork Charizard. You know, if you compare this set, like let's say this set for example with Darkness Ablaze, um, they're not even comparable because Darkness Ablaze is one of like the worst sets in the Sword and Shield era, and I think that's pretty easy to say. This card is like not comparable at all to the alternate art Charizard from Obsidian Flames. Like, look at this. It's a stark difference, and it's like the texture on this one is better, the artwork on this one is better. You have a a hardened, like a actual illustrator for the Pokemon TCG working on an alternate artwork of a Pokemon like Charizard, and instead here you have, the 3D graphics company like making giant Charizard or whatever. And that's not like it's just just a little bit disappointing that Darkness Ablaze isn't any better because, and this set is super cheap. You can pick up all of the most expensive cards in the set for really cheap. Look at this. The art rares are so dirt cheap, like not even a dollar per, like hardly a dollar per each. And then you have like the alternate artworks sitting at like around $2 for each of them. You can just pick all those up easily. You'd be happy. I would be happy. It's like me personally, as somebody who collects Pokemon cards just for specifically the artwork, it's just this set and all the other sets in the Scarlet and Violet era just like speak to me so well. Look at 151. 151, if we got this in the Sword and Shield era, back when like this is the same time that Champion's Path came out. Like if you're looking at like the set releases, imagine if 151 released like Champion's Path and you had like full art and a VMAX of Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, and then you have like just regular 151 Pokemon. The thing is like if you would pretend that this was an early Sword and Shield set, you wouldn't have this Charizard all art, or the Venusaur all art, or the Zapdos, or the Alakazam, or you wouldn't have anything. You would just have the full art Charizard. You'd have the full art Blastoise, full art Venusaur. There would be no depth, and the illustration rares and the special illustration rares really give new artists and old artists chances to shine and show off their skills. Like this artist, this one started in Crown Zenith, and they're getting a lot more love nowadays because they get to do these really wonderful illustration cards. Most people say that the Venusaur is one of their favorite cards in 151 just because of how nice it looks, Like the colors, the artwork itself is really nice. And this artist would never get a chance to shine if they were sitting like with a bunch of just regular common cards because people don't look at common cards the same way they look at art rares and illustration rares. Same with Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift is a pretty decent set as well. Has a bunch of really nice art rares, has a bunch of really nice special illustration rares. You got a lot of, older Pokemon. You got Garchomp, you got Altaria, you have Groudon as an art rare. Just like the thing with Scarlet and Violet that people don't understand is that Scarlet and Violet it will be timeless in the future because these artworks will carry these sets through thick and thin. Like nobody will care that like the prices are bad now. In a couple years, these prices might shoot through the roof, and it's just because, you know, the artworks on these sets have been significantly better than the early Sword and Shield era. Like it's just not even comparable because you have these actual illustrators working on these fantastic looking alternate artworks and art rares. Like this is the only reason that I think Paldean Fates was kind of lacking is because it didn't have more alternate arts from artists. Like I wouldn't have even minded if they just didn't have any full art Pokemon at all and just stuffed it full of a bunch of alternate arts. I wouldn't be upset with that. It's just because like I love looking at these cards illustrated by the artists. I love like looking at all the baby shinies because the baby shinies are like super nice in this set, and there's a lot of nice ones by nice artists. Um, it's just like it felt like for Paul Dane Face they really switched it up a little bit, giving us the alt arts, and I wasn't expecting it when the set was coming out, and I'm glad that they did it because if they didn't, it would be a little bit disappointing. People would think that it's worse than Shining Fates, and if there was a couple more Pokemon in here that were alternate arts, or they had a bunch of better, they had more of a variety of a selection of Pokemon in this set, I feel like it could have even been better than Hidden Fates, honestly. Um, and that's just because of the artwork itself. Then you look at Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces features these Pokemon that people don't really care about. You got Iron Crown, Iron Leaves, Gouging Fire, Walking Wake, Raging Bolt, like new Pokemon, brand new Pokemon that were just released. Pretty like not too recently, but like kind of recently, and they're the most expensive cards in the whole set, and for good reason. The artwork on them is fantastic. You really can't argue that like the artwork on one of these cards is just gorgeous. Like, hold on, let me see if I can get a better picture of this. Let's see here. Just look how nice it is. It's so detailed, it's so artistic. It's just like, I don't know, you just never really got this in early Sword and Shield, and obviously we're catching up to the point where Scarlet and Violet is going to start getting to like the Evolving Skies territory and like the Chilling Reign territory in terms of release schedules. But Honestly, the early Scarlet and Violet sets have done nothing but prove to me that Scarlet and Violet is one of the best generations that we've ever seen, easily in terms of artwork. And for a YouTuber like me, that's all I really care about. And if you agree as well, make sure you let me know down in the comments. Let me know what your favorite era of the, like Pokemon generations is, or whatever your favorite is. But yeah, just make sure to let me know like how you feel about this kind of stuff because I'm pretty passionate about it because I really just love the illustrations in the Pokemon TCG and I love all these artists that pour their heart and soul into making these Pokemon seem believable, realistic, but also make them just lively, entertaining, and just interesting to look at. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and just tell me what you think. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.